This episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com, authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of a Nak Muay. Go check it out. All right, so we have Gregory Sanzo in today, also known as Sanzo. Joining us through the Muay Thai community Discord. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. I think the last time I saw you, was it at TBA? I feel like I saw you again since then.
I think we just talk regularly, and I think TBA was the last time.
Damn. And that's actually where I met you, too.
Yeah. Kind of wild, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when we were talking, I remember we clicked and we're like, "Oh man, we're both messed up."
Yeah, well, we've both seen some stuff at least, you know.
Yeah. So, for those that are out there that are listening, kind of just like to pre-frame a little bit. So, you lived in Thailand for a little while, right?
Yeah. I started Muay Thai in like 2013, and then moved to Thailand about a year after that. Was there. I came back for a couple breaks, but was there for about a 4-year span.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you were there for the 4 years, like, did you plan to be there for 4 years, or did you go over there like, hey, I'm gonna go over there for like 2 months, ended up staying?
No, no. My first trip was shortly after I started training Muay Thai full time. Went just to train and ended up having my first fight. It was kind of crazy, and then fought in the U.S. for about a year, and then moved over to Thailand. Yeah, it was definitely a plan. Like ever since my first trip, I was I was definitely planning on it.
I feel like that's pretty common for people who are dedicated to Muay Thai.
Yeah,
You go over there, you get the taste of that like lifestyle, and you're like, crap, I want that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's eye-opening to experience another culture, but it's really attractive to be in the the mecca of the sport. Not to mention the food and the lifestyle and everything else. It's just I imagine if you want to be at the top of this art form, it's got to be in your plans,
Definitely. I've seen. That's people like Matt Lucas. You've met Matt before, right?
Oh yeah. Matt hung out while I was in Thailand a few times too. Like I've known Matt for years.
Yeah, I figured he did. So, I really like how he's pushing people like, hey, you need to go to Thailand. Hey, I'm gonna write this book to make it easier for you to go to Thailand.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I think people like Matt and people that are really pushing an understanding of the sport and the path, if you will, is it's important, and it's what helps the sport grow.
Heck yeah, man. So right now you're. I remember when I met you, you were kind of in between like teaching gigs and stuff like that, man. So you ended up over with Michael Corley, right, at Heritage Muay Thai?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a coach there under Corley, and it's pretty cool. It's like when I started, before I moved to Thailand, I was fighting under Corley and Bob, and and Houston Muay Thai days before Corley split off and made Heritage. So it's now it's like kind of full circle back with my old homies. We all kind of came up together, so
that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, you kind of got the team back together, right?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as it's cool because now I'm working like with Corley and coaching and learning his programs and kind of helping build as a coach as well as helping the boss.
Yeah. We kind of had like a similar thing happen to our team here in Ventura, actually. I have one of our training partners that I had under my Thai trainer, Knockweed, down in LA. He moved to the area. And then another training partner for there moved to the area. And then I brought in one of the instructors who, the gym closed down due to COVID and stuff like that. So I was able to bring him in, and we kind of got the whole gang together in Ventura and like Santa Barbara. It's pretty badass.
That's awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool whenever your paths go separate, but then you kind of everybody like-minded, like skill set, like abilities, kind of funnel back towards each other to do the best stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see, man.
Definitely.
Yeah. Kind of just to go on, the other day we were talking about your first Muay Thai fight. I asked a question in the community Discord, like, hey, what's everybody's first fight experience about? And that's kind of what it was like, hey, man, I need to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, my experiences are kind of unique, and I mean, sure, I'll write a book one day about it, and when I plan on never going back to Thailand again. But there's, I mean, there's my path was not how I would suggest, so I'll give that disclaimer before we get into any of that. But yeah, for sure.
Okay.
My first fight, it was crazy. I had started training, had like 2 smokers in a matter of like 3 months or so, and then went to Thailand to just train. I went for a month trip, and I get there. Of course, I loved it. I went to Sitman Chai first, and in Kanchanaburi, and being out in the country and training in that rural atmosphere and that vibe, I loved it. And weekend, PA comes over and points at me and goes, "You fight 2 weeks." And I was like, all right, cool, yeah, all right, let's do it. And I was stoked, so of course started training harder and harder and harder. And fought on MBK with 2 smokers about 4 months of training, and broke a dude's arm in the first round. And yeah,
perfect. And just to kind of break down like the environment of MBK for those that don't know, what is it? It's like a 5 or 6 story like mega shopping mall, right?
It's a massive mall in the middle of Bangkok.
Yeah.
And well, they used to have a promotion where they would put a ring in the middle of like the courtyard on the corner of Sukhumvit and like right next to MBK.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a lower level, like entry level, like fight show that would feature some high level fights here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was like you see all sorts of different fights on that show, but it was cool because it provided an opportunity for guys like me not really planning to fight. So, but it's very Street Fighter-esque. It's like you're in the middle of Bangkok and outside of a mall, and people are all crowded around a ring, just like on the corner of a street.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, but I mean, it sounds. I mean, there's definitely have like a production value to it, and it was, it was a cool thing. It's a wild experience for my first fight, though.
Yeah. Definitely getting out of your comfort zone on that one, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was all about it. That was about as I don't know. That first fight was sure a lot of nerves, but I was more excited than anything, and I didn't start having real nerves until I realized like 10 fights in what I was really doing.
Yeah. It's just it's good, especially that early. You're like, man, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to keep doing this shit.
Yeah, exactly. It was,
Especially after if you broke the guy's arm.
oh, I was hooked, man. I was hooked, and it was all I wanted to do. I mean, it's just nonstop from there.
Hmm.
I mean, and just finding my way to moving to Thailand.
Yeah, and I've attended those promotions before, and like you said, they used to, I think it was like every other Wednesday or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that
Yeah.
I was bummed like when they started canceling those, and then I think they were trying to bring them back, and then COVID happened, and that just kind of put the nail in the coffin, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder how that. I wonder how MBK is right now. I'm curious.
The actual mall.
Yeah, the actual mall right now with all
You
this
know,
COVID stuff.
I bet it's a lot of shutters. I bet, all those little stations and all the, like each
Closed.
floor had like one floor was all electronics. One floor was,
Yeah,
and, I mean, you could go there and find anything you needed, but now I bet it's a lot of those vendors are probably just gone, just not
yeah.
there anymore.
Or the only there on the weekends or something like that.
Yeah, but
Something. Yeah.
it's probably building back like most things.
So let's kind of go into later on in Thailand. Where'd you end up training at?
Man, when I moved there, I went to Pet D,
Mm.
and that's where I spent most of my time. I mean, I left after about a year living there and moved down to Phuket. Was at Kalpatak with Tonkin and Whipple and a couple other guys,
Mm.
um, and then went to AKA briefly until they kind of set me up to lose and realized it. um, and found my way into some trouble here and there, of course. Uh, Bounced around, checked out some other gyms, and then ended up back at Pet D for my last real like long-term stay before I moved back.
Yeah. So
So
I want to ask you something real quick. So I didn't know you trained at AKA Thailand.
yeah, yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you know Mitch Viquez? He's the media guy there.
I do know Mitch. Mitch is a cool dude.
Did we talk about this?
I don't
I
know.
don't. I don't think we did. Man, yeah. So
I don't
Mitch is
think we did.
he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
He went to
I
film
was there.
school here in Ventura and Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know that. We didn't talk about this.
no, man, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I remember seeing one of his flyers from he did like a couple fights for them, and he was Mitt from China.
Knit. Yeah, yeah.
Kun Mitt.
I was a couple of posters. I'm like Senzo, Senzo, and like Censo. Like I've been all sorts of weird
You've been
stuff.
all kinds of nationalities and everything too, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was on a fight poster for a card in China that I never got. None of my none of my
Yeah.
coaches or anything got any contact about. I was like on this fight poster in China. I was like, well, that's me, but I'm not on that card. I don't know what's going on.
It's like let's just we have an American guy fighting. We'll just find an American fighter picture. We'll just put him up there.
Yeah, or they'd use my photo and put like an Australian flag, like at Bangla. They did that a few times, or just like put me on the card and put an Australian flag to get Australian tourists to go to the fights.
Yeah, yeah. They try to get more like international people to come in, and oh, we have international fights. It's like, man, they all live in Phuket, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, it's funny to kind of go into that. A lot of I don't think I've had like that discussion here on the podcast before about all these different like stadiums. So did you fight? You fought in Bangkok. You fought in Phuket.
Yeah,
What's the big differences between those two for those that don't know?
so I mean, Bangkok's the major leagues, more or less. Phuket is kind of where you go to build, really. I
Mm,
mean, you can have no fights and get a fight at Bangla. Well, you could. And and before then it was harder. Bangla had a little bit more prestige to it, but now it's more or before pre-COVID anyways.
mm,
It's kind of the like testing grounds,
mm,
where you go and you build. if you're a foreigner and you're trying to work your way up the ladder, that's kind of what you do. I mean, I fought at Lumpini within the first 4 months of living in Thailand, and I was not ready for that.
That was the old Lumpini Stadium or the new one?
No, new Lumpini.
New one. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Is Pet D still located in the same place where like old Lumpini Stadium?
No, so when I moved there, they were just opening up their new location, which is on the west side of Bangkok towards Khao San, but not quite. So like kind of towards Ping Khao, if you're familiar with Bangkok.
Yeah.
It's like kind of the west side. It's like Jaran Sanet Wong. I don't know if you know that area. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
Real quick, while I have your attention, guys, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Hydronic Hydration. Hydronic Hydration is a powder-based hydration formula. You just drop it in your water bottle, whatever it is that you drink during training, before training, after training. It's a great hydration solution with 1,000 milligrams of elderberry, good for your immune support, vitamin C. So if you take like those emergency packets or anything like that, it could supplement that instead, along with hydration. It's got zinc and magnesium for electrolyte replacement, muscle relaxation, and recovery. Definitely go check them out at hydronichydration.com. That's a mix of unique and hydration. Okay, so HYDRONIQUE hydration.com. Also, want to give a shout out to Onnit. Onnit has given us affiliate. So what that means is if you guys use the link that's in the show notes, that will give direct support to the Academy. So if you consume Onnit products, you have no excuse. If you haven't tried Onnit products, they focus on performance enhancing supplements. So non-PEDs, guys. They're not drugs. They're not illegal. Just natural supplements that can help boost productivity, sleep, rest, recovery, and performance. Go check it out. Their total human optimization product. I highly recommend it. I use their supplement Alpha Brain almost on a daily to help keep up with all the details of my days. All right. So use the link in the show notes if you're listening to this, and enjoy the products.
Yeah, kind of northwest of or like not quite Ping Khao, but in that area. It's over there, and now there's a whole BTS line that they were starting when I was there, and now it's apparently finished. That runs right over to yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah,
yeah. They expanded the SkyTrain up in that area and everything too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so happy for that because that traffic, man. Oh.
I mean, the whole time I was there, I either had a scooter or a motorcycle. Yeah, ask me about the motorcycle story. That's a fun one.
So you straight up did you have a license when you were in Thailand? Did you just say fuck it and just
No, never.
So
never did I get a license or anything.
How many times have you had to pay a bribe to get out of that?
A good number of them. But then after I fought on Max, and certain cops around the areas that I was in a lot like would see me a lot, and I'm kind of hard to miss.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pretty recognizable. So after I pay them off correctly a few times, they'll just let me go, especially when I say bin nak moya kai moy Pet Yindi, and they're like, oh, okay, all right, go. They're like, Pet Yindi is kind of a big name gym and organization out there beyond just being one of the best gyms in the world. They kind of run the game on certain levels. So yeah, I mean, after a while it kind of stopped. But
what do you mean? Like I know, but what do you mean by kind of like run the game? When you have money in Thailand, that kind of brings like a certain status, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a very, without catching a Thailand defamation case here, it's a bit of a superficial like societal structure. Like everybody is kind of obsessed with status and finances and how you're perceived within public eye. I mean, we've got 5 social classes here. Arguably, they've got 10, and everybody knows who you are, what your level is within society, how much money you might have just by looking at you. Like it's different, you know, it's different. But on the side of, you know, Pet Yindi kind of being a leader within the Muay Thai world, I mean, one of the longest and most successful promotions with, you know, the father that started the gym and the promotion as a promoter, and then Boat now is kind of taking the reins more or less, with the father still kind of watching over everything. I mean, dude, you know, they've got Muay Man Wan Suk, they've got, you know, he's got his promotion. I mean, it's a long running family
In Muay Thai, yeah.
In Muay Thai, right. And one of the most successful, with some of the biggest legends you could ever, you know, if you spit off your top 20 Muay Thai ever, you're going to name at least 5 like Pet Yindi guys, you know, at least.
You know, kind of going into that, when you were training there, you know, what are some of those names that were training there that time for those out there? Because I know a lot of them, quite a few of them went over to One Championship.
Right. So Pet Morakot was one of my main training partners. He was there. Nongo was kind of had his last couple like Lumpini bouts while I was there. Sam A was there, and then Sam A was one of the first to go over to One Championship and to his gym. So those guys, Nongo was, I mean, man, I was a big foreigner, so like to these guys I was great for their clinching and some of their drills and stuff. So it was really cool for me because I was just learning from them as much as I could. But
yeah,
being Pet Morakot's clinch partner, sucks.
You needed a couple massages a week, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely a couple a week. You know, but other guys like Kaimu Kao was there. He was a little bit too small to really train with me. Sam D was there, who was like one of my best dudes. I mean, he's super cool. And Budalek, who's like his name is Man. He's like half German, half Thai, but Thai, you know.
Yeah.
He was kind of one of my closest friends. And then Yatin Tong was one of my clinch partners, who's, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's notorious for just like running through everything you threw at him into a body lock and just kneeing you till you quit.
I've heard of him before, but I haven't watched too much of his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so there was a lot of guys there. I mean, one of my real main teachers or like friends / training partners was Pet Sung Nuan, who was a big name like while Buakau was coming up through like the actual Thai circuit, and Sanchai was dominating in his prime. Not that he doesn't still dominate, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Pet Song Nuan was really kind of one of my, he's my boy, you know what I mean? Like he taught me a lot. He was kind of my guide through
mentor.
A lot of, a bit, well, yeah, yes and no, you know what I mean? I mean, he had his own struggles, as did I, and but he followed me down to Pattaya and like came to Sit Yao Tong when I was there and trained me while I was there, and he's definitely my homie through a lot of stuff.
Good. You know, that's you know, when you find your family there, you got your family there, right? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, like, Sor Corral was another guy I didn't even mention, but he was a good buddy of mine throughout my time there, especially my second stay. So, I mean, it's cool, man, you know, but I was there and I wasn't, you know, making the most of my opportunities. I was kind of dicking around and finding my way into trouble and dating the wrong Thai women and just, you know, I wasn't applying myself to the best. That's why that disclaimer at the beginning of this was, you know, my path is not suggested.
No, well, you know, I think you'd mentioned before, and when we were talking when we first met, it was like it's really easy for foreigners to get tied up in the party scene in Thailand when they go out there to train full time, correct?
Oh, very easy. I mean, as soon as you have a typical speed bump within your career, you take a bad loss or two in a row, like, I mean, what do? I mean, you're going to try and like expel some of that energy, one way or another, but you're not making money. That's something to really keep in mind is like, even if you're fighting at the highest frequency once a month, once every 6 weeks, or you're knocking people out and you're fighting every 2 weeks or every week or so, you're still not making money. Like, if you're trying to enjoy yourself, if you're really disciplined and you're staying, at the camp or at a small apartment and really saving money, sure, you can maintain, if you're fighting every month.
Yeah.
But it's not a realistic occupation for a foreign fighter to, until you're at the highest levels, it's just not realistic.
You're not making big money until you've been established there for at least 4 years and then fighting consistently.
Right.
And
I mean, if you come in, built and you're a fucking top standout within the U.S. scene, you can go over and start making enough money to maintain. Sure, if you've got the right guidance, the right beat into the right situation, and the right fucking people behind you, you can go and maintain. But being who I was with my background, I was trying to personal train people, and I wasn't really make enough money doing that. So I found my way into doing security and working at the clubs, and then doing weird film stuff. Not weird film stuff, but just like featured extra stuff.
Okay. I was about to say, whoa, we're going down that path, huh?
No. I mean, I fit the bill if you look at me, but no, none of that. Just I was in like Never Back Down 3 with Michael Jai White. That was a cool thing.
They made wait, back up. They made 3 of those.
Yeah, don't go watch it.
If you're out there now, you have to watch it and go find Gregory. You have to find Sanzo on there and tag us.
No, it's not. I'm not. It's not mentionable. I mean, I got paid more for a week of filming on that set than I would for 2 fights.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. So,
but
I mean,
you can see that like doing those fights that kind of paid you dues to allow you to get that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I made friends with some people that really kind of gave me the real ins and outs of the Thai culture and a lot of the underground stuff, and tried their best to guide me in ways that were like, here, this is what you shouldn't do, and here's the things that you should avoid. But seeing them firsthand, and I still found my way into trouble. But I made some really cool friends and saw a lot of stuff that I don't think most people have seen or should see within that experience. So stay out of the club scene, stay out of the bars.
Yeah, it gets dangerous real quick, and next thing you know, man, you got a toy on your lap.
Well, I don't, I never made that mistake.
I'm
but
kidding, man.
I've seen it made multiple times.
Yeah, I've seen it too, and I'm like,
Be careful, because Katoys know Muay Thai also.
Yes, so you can't. Sometimes you're just kind of stuck, man. I've seen it firsthand. Oh
yeah,
brother, man, that's a steep topic, but kind of just going away from that for a sec. So tell me about your coaching. Who you're training right now, and kind of what your plan is right now for as a trainer. Are you trying to fight again, or what's going on?
Well, I'm working with Corley at Heritage and working with fighters there. I've been training Grayson since he started, and integrating into Corley's team has been really cool, because now he's getting all of Corley's expertise as well, and just improving his boxing game, and really kind of both of us leveling up since we made the shift over.
Good,
but
man.
helping out with other guys, even some of the fighters that are moving into MMA. I mean, we've got the World Games qualifiers coming up.
Yeah.
I've got this Congo, who's a new pro like kickboxer, who's
Are
6'4".
you training him? Because I started following him after his last fight.
Yes, I'm training him. He's doing a heavyweight 4-man tournament in like 2.5, 3 weeks.
Where at?
And I think it's for the XRC or what's that promotion in Oklahoma, I think.
I have no idea.
I forget. It's a kickboxing 4-man tournament. So I'm training him on top of Grayson, who has a championship fight for freedom on February 19th, which is a little bit of a touchy subject because his opponent just pulled to fight for a different promotion a week later. Which is, we can do a whole episode on that type of stuff.
You know, you kind of have to go on like the mindset. So let's go on to Congo. He's fighting a 4-man tournament. He doesn't really get to pick who he's going to fight as a pro, right? Sometimes, like a little bit, but not really, right?
I mean, no. I mean, he's had a couple fights that are, with the intention of testing him and building under that Courtly management sticker. He's got a path to where he can find his way to the upper ranks of kickboxing pretty well, but you still, we got to make sure he's built and make sure he's able to, to be in there with the highest level before we just throw him in there.
Yeah.
But at pro, and that's why he's doing a heavyweight thing, because, he fought at 210 the last fight, or 205 or something like that. And this one, it's heavyweight, but I mean, it's not easy to I don't know. It's like a lot of stuff's like cherry picked and selected. Like, oh well,
man,
get you the best amateur record possible before you go pro, and I just don't believe in all that.
It's
but
stupid.
I understand. Yeah, it's stupid. It's fucking stupid, and it's not the way it should be.
It's not Muay Thai.
It's not Muay Thai. I mean,
that's definitely like the Western boxing influence coming into play there.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
For better or worse, I don't know if it's good or bad, but like it's just not Muay Thai when it comes into that, the mindset of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the mindset. And that's, and that's why we're running into this situation, I feel, between, I don't know the full details from both sides of the story, but I do know that there's snaky stuff within promotions, and that happens on the regular. And it's just kind of, unfortunately, a fucking part of the game. But the real issue comes down to coaches dodging or selecting an easier fight for their amateur fighter. And it's like, I understand at the beginning stages of not, feeding your guys to somebody that's much more skilled, etc. That makes sense. But this like whole belt collection mentality and having
they're fake belts too.
Say again? Yeah,
they're fake belts. Like, they don't mean anything really.
Right, exactly. But I understand wanting to gain accolades within your progression, but the I don't know. It's just you're an amateur, but what are you building to? Is your end goal to have 80 amateur fights and 40 belts? Like, I don't get it. Like, what is the pinnacle of the art form that you are learning and trying to build towards mastery, right? Like, what's the pinnacle to you?
Yeah.
Is it 10-time national champion? I mean, cool, man. You're only going to get to a certain level that isn't even really the top.
Yeah.
Any near the top.
Yeah, for those that might not know, I can kind of elaborate a little bit on that. So we have like these national titles, these national tournaments, and you're fighting, amateur until this World Games qualifier. And I think the TBA, or the Tournament of Champions, they did like they allowed pros to fight in the tournament, right?
Yeah. Grayson fought Leslie in that one, right? Who's a pro now?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
and that's kind of like a culture shift in the U.S. for that to happen, and same thing in the World Games qualifiers in Colorado.
Right, which kind of bleeds into the path of, the IFMA World Game, the IFMA Championships, and the IOC recognition, and trying to build Muay Thai as a global sport, and potentially into the Olympics. That's kind of what it is. I mean, you see highest level pros fighting within IFMA, and potentially the Olympics in the near future. It's how it goes. Now there's just, it's a different understanding, and it is that boxing and MMA mentality seeping into the sport. But in Thailand, I mean, there's no, you fight.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah, I learned that the first time I went to WKA World Championships in 2015 with my friend Travis Petralba. He's fighting in the World Games qualifiers. I went out there.
Man, he's a stud.
Oh, you know Travis?
I don't know him, but I know of him, of course. Being
Will you be at World Games qualifiers?
I will be at World Games qualifiers.
Cool. I'll make sure to introduce you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be glad to meet him. I'm always down to get to know and jive with more people that have seen and done and are a part of the sport.
Yeah, man.
I love it. We're all nuts.
Yeah, he's. What's funny is I met him when we were like 12 years old. I've had him on the podcast a couple times too. We grew up in the same town together. So
nice.
Yeah, he's super cool guy, nurse. We say healer by day, fighter by night.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. Kind of just get going. I would love to talk more, and we should definitely do this again. But do you want to give any shout outs before we tune out here?
To Heritage, to my gym, to my home, and my team, and all my people that I see every day, and continue to try and just share my knowledge and what I've learned throughout the sport, and everybody that is a part of this crazy art form that has the intention and the drive enough to commit to it, because it's not an easy road.
Nope.
But I'm glad we're all doing it, because it's I love it. It's my passion, and I'm glad to share it with cool people like you.
Hey, appreciate you, man. I'm glad we're able to connect. How can people find you? How can they connect to you?
It's Sanzo Kicks on Instagram. I'm kind of off and on bad about that stuff, but I mean, I'm on there. Yeah,
you can connect
Sanzo
on there.
Kicks.
And then you're also on the community Discord also. Same thing, Sanzo Kicks?
Yep, same thing. I just keep it simple, man.
I like it, man.
I try to not to be too involved with the Matrix, but somewhat.
I don't blame you one bit, man.
Well, hey, no, because what you're doing is important, man, and I'm glad to have time to chat with you and kind of dive into some of these subjects. But keep doing it, man, because this stuff's important.
I appreciate it, and I know you see we've talked a little bit about this, and it's great to see, and just we need more people doing it. That's the thing about it. So hopefully, if there's anybody listening out there, man, get on it. I can't be the only one. There's some other people doing some great things as well. We need more.
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Thanks for your time, Sanzo.
Thanks, buddy. I'll see you soon.
All right, that's it today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are listening on iTunes, please go leave a review. It means the world to me if you enjoy the content, if you like hearing about all stuff that has to do with Muay Thai and what we're doing. Also, there's another way to support us. If you guys visit our Patreon link, it's in the show notes. Also on our YouTube, if you go to pmtlifestyle.com, there's a Patreon link up at the top. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. To get some behind-the-scenes footage, things of that nature, to see what we're doing behind the scenes for Pu'u Muay Thai, what we're trying to get going. Also, you can get some early access clips. You can also get t-shirts, merchandise, and a few other things as perks of being a patron. Again, go check that out. It's at pmtlifestyle.com.